Alright, so today this video is about volume. First thing I want you to do is take out your reference chart though and copy down the things I've done. You're going to cross off the words prism and pyramid because we're not going to be using those. And I want you to write these two formulas in the middle. Once you're done with that, you can keep playing the video. But go ahead and pause so you can copy if you need to. Alright, so the reason we're writing these two formulas right here is because we know from surface area, this big B right here stands for area of the base. Well, if we're only doing a cylinder and a cone in volume this year, then our formula is going to be pi r squared for area of the base because that's the area of the circle formula. So we're just going ahead and replacing that with that big B with pi r squared so that way we're ready. So in an instance when it gives you a radius or a diameter in your problem, you're going to use one of these two depending on the shape. If it says something about area of the base, then you're going to end up using these problems, okay? Or this formula, sorry. So I'll show you in a little bit which kind of problems we're using these for. But then I want you to notice for sphere, we did not change the formula at all. We're just using this guy. Alright, so I'm doing problems from the diagnostic test, so if you'd like to do them with me on your diagnostic, that's fine, but I have them printed out, okay? So the first one I have, ignore this shape underneath here. Oh, sorry, this one. First one I have is Mrs. Miles makes a candle by placing wax in a glass container like the one shown below. If the radius of the glass container is 2 inches and the height is 3, how much wax will she need to fill the container? So this container looks like a cylinder. So I'm coming back over here, and I'm going to go to my cylinder formula. I was given a radius. It didn't say anything about area of the base, so I'm going to use this formula right here. So go ahead and write that formula down. We've got pi r squared h. Now I'm going to draw my base just so I have my numbers. So I have a circular base with a radius of 2 and a height of 3. Alright, now we're just replacing the formula with numbers. So pi, we're going to write 3.14 times 2 squared times 3. Alright, and then you can just open Desmos and type this in. So I'm going to use 3.14 for pi, and then 2 squared times 3, and you get 37.68, which if you're looking at our answer choices, the closest one is this one right here. Okay? If you have any questions, remember you can always go back and watch me do it again, or pause and copy this down, okay? All right. The next question is this one. Like I said, ignore this shadow here. That's on the next page, okay? So Javier has a model of a cone with a radius of 3 and a height of 10. Javier increased his model's volume by doubling its radius and height. What is the volume of the larger cone in cubic inches? So I noticed they gave me a radius in this one, so I'm coming over here. My volume of a cone formula is this guy right here, so 1/3 pi r squared h. Okay? Now, go ahead and draw your picture. We've got a circle with a radius, and then for cone, I do the height in the middle, so that way you know it represents a cone. So it told me the radius was 3 and the height was 10, but he's doubling the radius and the height. So if I double 3, that gives me 6, and if I double 10, I get 20. So these are the numbers I'm going to be using in my formula, not 3 and 10. Something I want you to notice, and I want you to get in the habit of noticing before you start solving the problem, is my answer choices. I don't know if you can tell, but there's pi in each one of them, okay? That means I am not going to multiply by pi. Because like this answer choice right here, 120 pi, represents 120 times pi. So what you're going to do is take pi, move him to the end, and now fill in 1/3 r squared and h. So we've got 1/3. Your radius is 6, so times 6 squared. I just hopped over pi, and then h is 20. And now when you're typing in Desmos, you're only going to type this piece right here. Okay? So I've got 1/3 times 6 squared times 20. And I get 240. But it's not just 240, it's 240 times pi, which is this last answer choice right here. All right? Remember, if you have any questions, you can always ask your teacher as well. All right, the next question I'm doing is this one. It says, what is the volume of the cylinder in cubic feet? Okay, so I noticed this gave me a diameter this time instead of a radius. So when I draw my picture, I'm only going to label the radius. So the diameter is 6, the radius is 3, and then you draw your height of 8. Since it gave me a radius or a diameter, I'm using this formula right here in the middle. It's a cylinder, so just pi r squared h. Now, again, stopping and checking my answer choices. I notice I do have pi inside of them, so I'm going to bring pi to the end. And so I'm just going to do r squared times h. So 3 squared times 8. So I'm going to go type that in on Desmos. 3 squared times 8. So I get 72, but it's 72 pi. Okay? So the correct answer is this third one right here. All right. Moving on. A globe in the shape of a sphere has a radius of 3/4 feet. What is the volume of the globe? So go ahead and draw your circle. That's all you're going to have here is just the circle. And the radius is 3/4. So this is a sphere. So we're coming back to our formula chart. Remember, there's only one formula for sphere, so it's this one right here. So write 4/3 pi r cubed. This right here is the major difference. A lot of mistakes happen because people will type in r squared instead of r cubed. So now make sure you do that. So we're going to replace 4/3. Oh, I forgot to check my answer choices. So I'm coming over here. I see pi in 2 of them, so I'm going to pull pi to the end automatically, okay? So I'm just really typing in 4/3 times r, which is 3/4 cubed, okay? So we've got 4/3 times 3/4 to the third power. So 0.5625. I want you to remember too that on your content assessment it does not let you change back to a fraction. So you need to know it's 0.5625 pi, okay? I want to know which of these matches it. So I'm going to look at the 2 that have pi in them. And I'm going to type those in the calculator, okay? So I'm going to start with 9/16. You're not going to type the pi in. Oh, look, it matches. So it is 9/16 pi, okay? If you would have typed in 27/64, you would have seen that it's not 0.5625, okay? All right. Just remember, if it has pi in the answer choice, you don't multiply by pi. Let's do another sphere. All right, we've got Mrs. Ackerman. Mrs. Ackerman bought a beach ball for her classroom. The diameter of the beach ball measured 23 inches. Which of the following is the best estimate of the volume of the beach ball? So we've got our beach ball. The diameter is 23. Remember, if you've got diameter, you need to divide it by 2 to get the radius. So I've got 11.5. If you look at your formula chart, the formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. Now, if I check my answer choices, I don't see pi, so that means I'm multiplying by 3.14. So 4/3 times 3.14 times 11.5 to the third power. So that's what I'm typing in on Desmos. 4/3 times 3.14 times 11.5 to the third. So I got 6,367.39, which rounds to the closest one is this one right here, 6,370 cubic inches. All right, I'm going to stop here. I know there's more questions on the diagnostic, but I'm going to record those in a separate video. So this is the end of video 1.